When you picture the most fearsome predator on the African plains, what comes to mind? For most of us, it is lion.
A roaring titan, the undisputed king of the savannah, a symbol of raw power and brutal success. We imagine every hunt ending in a triumphant victory. But nature has a funny way of defying our expectations. The truth is, for all its strength, a lion's hunt is mostly a masterclass in failure. A single lion trying its luck succeeds on just 17 to 19% of its hunts. Even when hunting together in a pride, their success rate only climbs to about 30%. That means 7 out of every 10 times, the king goes hungry. This story of failure isn't unique. The solitary, powerful tiger succeeds in only about 10 to 20% of its attempts. And the persistent wolf, another pack hunter, averages a mere 14% success rate across many studies. The natural world, it seems, is built on a foundation of misses, near successes, and exhausting failures. But what if I told you there's another predator on these same plains? An animal that doesn't have the lion's muscle or the leopard's stealth. Yet, it stands as the most successful large hunter in Africa. A creature that succeeds in up to 85% of its hunts. Not through overwhelming force, but through a radical strategy that completely redefines what it means to be dominant. This isn't a story about the survival of the strongest. It's a story about the survival of the smartest, most cohesive team on the savannah. It is the story of the African wild dog. Section 1. The underdog profile. Also known as the painted dog or painted wolf, the African wild dog, Lycaon pictus, is an animal that seems designed to be underestimated. They're lanky, almost gaunt, weighing between 40 and 80 pounds, less than half the weight of a lioness. Their bodies are a chaotic mosaic of black, yellow, brown, and white fur, and the pattern on each is unique, like a human fingerprint. They don't have the terrifying jaws of a hyena or the massive paws of a big cat. With their huge, rounded, almost cartoonish ears and slender frames, they just don't project the same aura of menace as their more famous competitors. They're often confused with hyenas, but they are a distinct species, the only remaining member of their genus. Lycaon. Unlike our pet dogs, they have 4 toes on each foot instead of 5. These are creatures built not for brute force, but for something else entirely: endurance. Their long legs, slender bodies, and massive lungs are engineered for the chase, capable of hitting speeds over 40 miles per hour and holding them for miles on end. But their true power isn't just physical. It's woven into their social fabric. Wild dogs live in super tight-knit packs, usually from 6 to 20 members. Unlike a lion pride, which is full of competition, or the lonely life of a leopard, the wild dog pack is a picture of near-perfect harmony. They are one of the most socially complex and cooperative mammals on the planet. And that cooperation is the secret to their incredible lethality. A secret that begins not with a roar, but with a sneeze. Section 2. The cooperative. Secret. A wild dog hunt doesn't start with a silent storm. It begins with a wild, energetic greeting ceremony. Pack members circle each other, touching, chirping, and whining in a display that looks more like a joyful reunion than prep for a deadly pursuit. But this isn't just a social warm-up. It's a critical pre-hunt ritual. It's a vote. Biologists discovered that the hunt only happens if enough dogs signal their readiness by sneezing. If a dominant dog sneezes, it only takes a few more yes votes. If a lower-ranking dog starts it, it needs more sneezes to get things going. It is quite literally a democratic decision to kill. Once a target is chosen, often a medium-sized antelope like an impala or even a much larger wildebeest, the strategy shifts from democracy to a masterclass in coordinated attack. A cheetah relies on one burst of blinding speed and often has to give up if it fails quickly. A lion tries to use brute force. The wild dogs use a far smarter, more energy-efficient method: the relay race. One or two dogs will start the chase, but they don't try to end it right away. They set a grueling pace, running their prey ragged. As the lead dogs start to tire, fresh pack members who have been loping along saving energy surge forward to take their place. They communicate constantly with high-pitched, bird-like calls that carry over long distances, letting them coordinate their movements across vast open terrain. The prey, running for its life from what seems like a tireless monster, is pushed to utter exhaustion. The chase can cover miles, and for the prey, there is no rest and no escape. It's not about being faster in a sprint. It's about outlasting your opponent in a marathon. The final takedown is swift and overwhelming. The pack swarms the exhausted animal in a flurry of painted coats and efficient action. Within minutes, it's over. And it's here, right after the kill, that the wild dogs reveal the most profound and selfless part of their nature. Section 3. The ethic of the pack. At a lion kill, there's chaos. The dominant males eat first, slapping away cubs and lionesses. For most predators, the kill is a moment of intense, selfish competition. For the African wild dog, it's the exact opposite, a moment of communal responsibility. The first to eat aren't the dominant alphas who led the hunt. The first to eat are the pups. Before the leaders even take a bite, the young get priority, ensuring the next generation is strong. But their selflessness doesn't stop there. While the hunt was on, some pack members stayed behind at the den. The old, the injured, or the designated babysitters, the hunters, their bellies full, don't hoard the meal. They share their food with the sick, the elderly, and the young who couldn't be there. This behavior is almost unheard of in the world of large predators. It's a social safety net woven into their very society. By caring for their old and injured, they preserve the pack's collective knowledge. By prioritizing their young, they invest everything in the future. A lion pride can be crippled by the loss of a strong male, but a wild dog pack functions as a single organism, where the whole is far greater than the sum of its parts. This radical cooperation is why they're so successful. Every dog hunts, knowing the pack has its back. Section 4. The hunt. Imagine the scene. The sun is low, casting long shadows across the savannah. The air cools. The pack begins to stir. They greet each other with those excited chirps, noses touching, tails wagging. A vote is cast with a series of sneezes. The decision is made. They move out as one, fanning across the landscape, their painted coats like a mirage in the tall grass. They spot a herd of impala. There is no frantic immediate charge. They test the herd, observing, looking for an individual that's just a little slower, maybe a bit weaker. Then, the chase begins. Two dogs break from the pack, their loping strides devouring the ground. The chosen impala panics and bolts. The lead dogs push it, forcing a full-out sprint. The impala is faster in a short burst, but the dogs don't need to be the fastest. They just need to be the most relentless. As the impala starts to fatigue, its powerful leaps shortening. Two more dogs surge forward, their fresh legs taking over. The first pair falls back, conserving energy but keeping pace. The sound of their bell-like calls echoes across the plain, a communication network guiding the assault. It makes one last, desperate turn, only to be met by another dog, anticipating its every move. Finally, it stumbles. In an instant, the pack is on it. The hunt, a marathon of endurance, ends in a sprint of lethal efficiency. The pack eats with astonishing speed, often finishing in under 15 minutes to avoid having their meals stolen by lions or hyenas. Then, their duty to the hunt done, they turn to their next duty. The pack. Section 5. The new survival of the fittest. We're often taught that survival of the fittest means the survival of the strongest, the most aggressive, the most dominant individual. The African wild dog forces us to see it differently. Their entire existence is a testament to a new interpretation, the survival of the most effective team. Their fitness isn't measured in muscle, but in the strength of their social bonds. Their incredible success rate isn't a fluke. It's the direct result of a system that rewards selflessness and prioritizes the group. They are a living, breathing example that in the brutal math of the wild, cooperation can be a more potent weapon than raw strength. And yet, for all their success as hunters, the wild dogs themselves are in peril. They are one of the most endangered carnivores in Africa, with only about 6,600 adults left. Their greatest strength, their reliance on the pack, is also their greatest vulnerability. Habitat loss forces them into smaller areas, and diseases caught from domestic dogs can wipe out an entire pack in weeks. The most cooperative hunter in Africa is being undone by a world with less and less room for them to roam. The survival of their species now depends not just on their own teamwork, but on ours. CTA, the story of the African wild dog, challenges our whole idea of what it means to be successful in the natural world. But they aren't the only overlooked animal with an incredible story. What animal do you think deserves more recognition for its unique survival strategy? Let us know in the comments below. Conclusion. For more stories that change the way you see the world, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. The African wild dog teaches us that true fitness isn't just about the power to take, but about the wisdom to give back. And that might be the most powerful survival lesson of all.